If someone asks you for something and you say, sure, of course, before you've even had a second to think. If someone's upset and you automatically feel like you have to fix it, if a wave of guilt hits the moment you try to say no, that isn't just kindness. A lot of the time, it's something older, a body response, something you've been practicing for years. On the outside, a person looks like light, warm, available, kind, so reliable that people naturally gather around them. But on the inside, it can feel like being a room with the lights always on. Not because you want to, because you're afraid that if they go out for even a moment, someone might leave. That's where people-pleasing begins, not with kindness, but with an old agreement stamped into your nervous system. If everyone is okay, then I'm safe. And look, this story usually doesn't start with some huge dramatic event. It starts with an ordinary evening. Your phone buzzes, a simple message. Can you help me tonight? Or can you hop on a quick call? Or that classic one, quick favor, do you have a second? And before your mind can even catch up, your body has already answered. A quick tightness in your stomach. Your heartbeat picks up, that familiar feeling, like it's coming from somewhere old. I have to. Your fingers type fast. Yeah, of course. And then your brain finally arrives, quiet, delayed, and asks, wait, can I actually do this? Do I even want to? But it's too late. You've said yes again, not from desire, from fear. From the outside, people-pleasing looks beautiful. It looks like being polite, being responsible, being a team player, being a good person. That's why for years, nobody sees it as a problem, not even you, because society rewards it. The person who always agrees is mature. The person who always sacrifices is so generous. The person who never says no is so easy to work with, so considerate. But your body knows the truth. Your body knows that behind so many of those yeses, there's fear. Fear of upsetting someone, fear of rejection, fear of being left alone. If we look a little closer, more psychologically, people-pleasing is often a stress response. Most of us know fight or flight. You either push back or you escape. Some people also freeze when things feel too intense, shut down, go numb. But there's another response many people don't even have a name for. Staying safe by making the other person happy. Some clinicians call it the fawn response. You don't handle danger by fighting. You don't handle it by running. You handle it by smoothing everything over, by becoming pleasing, agreeable, easy. And it usually starts in childhood, in a home where the emotional weather isn't predictable, where love sometimes comes with conditions, where an adult's mood can change the whole atmosphere. That's where a child's brain finds a strategy. I'll want less. I'll say less. I'll take up less space. So things stay calm. That isn't a moral choice. It's a nervous system choice. A child's nervous system is built for survival, not fairness. So the child learns to protect the relationship, even if the cost is losing themselves. And usually, behind this pattern, there are a few simple but defining moments. Moments when the child learns that upsetting the adults is dangerous. Maybe they cried once and were told, stop it. Maybe they asked for something and heard, not now. Maybe they protested and were met with pouting, anger, a cold silence, or being ignored. Right there, the child's brain concludes, having needs is trouble. So, little by little, they learn to censor their needs. They become the person who checks on everyone else. But when someone asks, how about you? They pause, smile, and say, I'm fine. And that isn't always a report, it's a safety sentence. a sentence that keeps things from escalating. People pleasers are often sensitive people, precise, sharp, fast at reading a room. From one tiny shift in tone or facial expression, they can tell something is off. From the outside, it looks like empathy and social intelligence, but a lot of the time, it's anxiety. A brain that has been trained for years to detect danger early so it can manage things before they get worse. That's why a simple frown isn't just a frown to a people pleaser. It's a message. You need to do something now. And here's the key point. A lot of people pleasers think they're helping others, but in practice, they're trying to calm their own nervous system. Someone gets upset and you rush in, explaining, apologizing, over-comforting, taking responsibility for something that isn't yours, because your body is trying to get out of alarm mode. From the outside, it looks like selflessness. From the inside, it's exhausting. Because you're constantly managing something that was never meant to be yours to carry. And then the pattern shows up in life in a few repeating ways. You say yes too often, then you get crushed under pressure because saying no feels like danger. Silent resentment builds because you keep giving, smiling, staying nice, while inside a heavy layer of exhaustion and bitterness grows because you're not seen. And sometimes relationships become uneven. You're drawn to people who take more than they give because the role of caretaker feels familiar to your nervous system. And familiar doesn't always mean healthy. A lot of the time, it just means repeated. Eventually, the body protests. Not with a clear sentence, through symptoms, insomnia, nausea, numbness, sudden anger. You think, I'm breaking, but really, your body is saying, I can't keep doing this. And if you see that moment clearly, it can be the beginning of coming back. The beginning of separating kindness from fear. So how do we start making a real change from here? The first step is understanding the difference between kindness and compulsion. Kindness comes from choice. Compulsion comes from fear. Kindness happens after you check in with yourself. Fear pushes you into yes before you even check. So here's a simple but deep starting point. Put a small pause between the request and your answer, even 3 seconds. Those 3 seconds can build a new pathway because they pull you out of autopilot and give your brain a chance to experience choice. In that pause, instead of asking moral questions like, am I a bad person if I say no? Ask real questions. Do I actually have the capacity right now? Do I actually want to do this? People pleasers have often been disconnected from their bodies for years because they've been trained to look outward first. But your body will tell you. Your throat tightens. Your breath gets shallow. Your jaw locks. Your shoulders rise. That's the body's language saying, this yes is pressure. Just hearing that language without shaming yourself is a huge step. And you don't have to become harsh or cold overnight. Saying no can be soft. Boundaries don't have to be war. Sometimes it's just buying time so you can hear yourself. A simple line like, let me check and get back to you. Or, I can't tonight, but I can do 30 minutes tomorrow. These sentences are small, but to a nervous system that has lived in fear for years, they're big. And the hardest part might be this: tolerating other people's discomfort. Because in childhood, you learned that other people's upset was danger, and it had to be fixed immediately. But in adulthood, not every discomfort is danger. People are allowed to be disappointed sometimes, and that doesn't automatically mean you're bad. The practice is this: When someone seems a little hurt or annoyed, don't immediately rush to fix it. Breathe. Wait a few seconds. Remind yourself, not everyone has to be okay for me to have the right to exist. Guilt will show up in this process. A lot of the time, that guilt isn't truth, it's old conditioning. And some people might react because they were used to the old version of you, the version that was always available. And here's a painful but clear truth. Some relationships only last as long as you keep ignoring yourself. If a relationship collapses the moment you have boundaries, it may not have been fair from the beginning. Now come back to that first image, the person who looks like light from the outside. Maybe it's time you stop spending all your light on everyone else. Maybe it's time you turn the lights on in your own room too. Not from fear of being left, but from respect for yourself. Because real kindness starts when you're included in it. When yes is a choice, not an emergency. When helping comes from love, not from panic. Imagine the same message comes again. Can you help me tonight? This time, you don't answer right away. You set the phone down. You take a deep breath. The anxiety is still there, but you don't run from it. You sit with it for a few seconds. And then you write, I can't tonight, but I can do 30 minutes tomorrow. Maybe it's just one sentence, but for you, it's an event. Because for the first time, you prove to yourself you can have boundaries and still be lovable. You can say no and still be human. And even if some people step back, you don't abandon one person this time. You don't abandon yourself. If this story feels familiar, know this. Your people-pleasing isn't a moral flaw. It was an old way to survive, but maybe you don't need it anymore. Maybe now you can slowly teach your body. Safety is a place where me gets to exist too. And that might be the first real form of kindness. Kindness toward the part of you that spent years being kind to everyone while forgetting itself.